Hillary Clinton, a 65-year-old widow living in Seattle, carries a story that is not just a cautionary tale, but also the unspoken voice of countless older adults facing the harsh transitions of life. When her husband passed away unexpectedly from a heart attack, Hillary found herself plunged into an overwhelming emptiness. The house she once called a home was now filled with an eerie silence. The photographs on the walls, the empty chairs around the dining table, all seemed to echo a loneliness beyond words. In the first days after her husband's death, Hillary tried to fill the void by keeping herself busy, tending to the small garden, organizing old keepsakes, or simply reading a book by the window. But as night fell, an unbearable emptiness would creep in. There were nights when she woke up in the middle of her sleep, only to realize that the man who had always been by her side was no longer there. The fear of facing the future alone slowly crystallized into a painful reality. Hillary began to question whether she could endure the remaining years of her life without someone by her side. In that moment, her daughter Sarah made a suggestion that felt like a lifeline to Hillary. "Mom, why don't you move in with us?" Sarah said, her voice filled with love. "Our house is always spacious. You wouldn't have to be alone anymore. You could help me take care of the kids. We could all be together as a family." That invitation lit a spark of hope within Hillary. The arrangement seemed almost too perfect to decline. Hillary would have her family close by to fill the emptiness in her heart. Sarah could return to work knowing her children were lovingly cared for, and Hillary's presence would bring warmth and stability to Sarah's home, a warmth that was often missing amid the chaos of busy days. The thought of living with her grandchildren made Hillary's heart glow. She pictured mornings filled with their cheerful laughter and evenings spent around the dinner table sharing joyful stories. In those imagined moments, Hillary believed she had found not only comfort, but also a renewed sense of purpose. She saw herself contributing to her daughter's family, a mutual exchange of love that seemed to benefit everyone. Not long after, Hillary began packing her most treasured belongings into small boxes, preparing for this new chapter in her life. On the day she moved into Sarah's home, she stood at the doorway, taking a deep breath. Her heart was a mix of hope and apprehension, brimming with anticipation for the changes ahead. In Hillary's eyes, the door in front of her was not just the entrance to a new house, but the gateway to a whole new chapter of her life. For a time, everything was wonderful, like a warm dream that Hillary never thought she would experience again. She loved her grandchildren with all her heart, cherishing every moment as she watched them grow, from their wobbly first steps to their innocent, chirpy voices. Hillary became an indispensable part of their daily lives, not just as a grandmother, but also as a trusted friend. She poured her heart into every family meal she prepared, dishes that were not only nutritious, but carried the unmistakable flavor of love. Each morning, she patiently helped the children tie their shoelaces, pack their school bags, and walked them to school. In the afternoons, she waited by the school gates, her heart swelling with joy as the children ran to her with open arms. Sometimes, Hillary would willingly take on small tasks around the house, like reorganizing closets or tending to the backyard garden. "Ah, I love being with them," Hillary reminisced, her eyes sparkling with joy. "Hearing their laughter, witnessing their milestones, it fills a void I didn't even realize was there." But, as with all beautiful dreams, reality began to creep in. Over time, the delicate balance in their lives started to shift. The tasks Hillary had once done out of love and willingness gradually became unspoken expectations. Without any explicit demands, it was silently assumed that she would handle everything. Sarah and her husband, consumed by their work schedules, increasingly relied on Hillary to keep the household running. Bit by bit, Hillary's responsibilities grew, turning into a never-ending cycle. She woke up earlier than everyone else to prepare breakfast for the children. Then came the laundry, cleaning, grocery shopping, and occasionally fixing small household items. At night, after the family had gone to bed, Hillary found herself alone in the kitchen, washing dishes and scrubbing countertops. Her hands grew calloused, her legs weary from standing all day without a break. "I feel like I've gone back to work," Hillary admitted, her voice heavy with exhaustion and quiet sorrow. "But this time, I don't get paid, and there's no retirement in sight." There were nights when Hillary sat alone in her small room, staring at an old suitcase tucked into the corner. It held the dreams of her later years that she had once envisioned. "I had dreamed so much about these years," she whispered to herself. "I thought I would have time to pursue unfinished hobbies, meet new friends, learn to paint, or simply sit in the afternoon sun with a cup of tea and a favorite book." But instead, Hillary felt like a living servant, always available, always waiting to meet the needs of others. "I've lost myself," Hillary murmured into the darkness, her eyes clouded with tears she couldn't hold back. This was no longer the life she had hoped for. It had become a relentless cycle where her personal dreams were gradually replaced by endless responsibilities. The breaking point came one evening when Sarah, her face lit with excitement, announced that she and her husband had planned a weekend getaway. Her words felt more like a declaration than a request, and Hillary was left with the entire responsibility of managing the household and taking care of the children, without ever being asked if she was comfortable with it. Hillary had no chance to express her fatigue or discomfort. In Sarah's eyes, it was simply a given, a role Hillary was expected to fulfill without question. That night, after the children had fallen asleep and the house was cloaked in silence, Hillary sat alone in the living room. The dimly lit room was illuminated only by the soft glow of a table lamp. She leaned back in her chair, her calloused hands resting limply on her knees, her body utterly drained after a long, unrelenting day. The dishes were still unwashed in the kitchen, and the laundry for the next day lay waiting. Her thoughts swirled endlessly in her mind, a repetitive loop she couldn't escape. Hillary glanced around the house, a place she had poured so much care and effort into maintaining, only to realize it was not her home. It was merely a space where she existed, not to live, but to serve. "I'm losing myself," Hillary whispered, her voice hoarse in the stillness. She felt more certain than ever that this life no longer belonged to her. "I'm not living my life, I'm living theirs." That admission felt like a sharp blade cutting deep into Hillary's heart. Yet, at the same time, it brought an awakening. She realized that if she didn't change something, the remaining years of her life would slip away in exhaustion, leaving her a shadow of who she once was. With a heavy heart but a resolute spirit, Hillary decided it was time to move on. It wasn't an act of escape, but rather a step toward reclaiming her own life. Over the following weeks, she quietly researched senior living communities in her area. She found an ideal place, one that offered independence, engaging social activities, and a supportive network when needed. Leaving wasn't easy. Hillary had to endure tearful conversations with Sarah. Her daughter, caught off guard and hurt, struggled to understand why her mother had chosen to leave. "Why do you want to leave us?" Sarah asked, her voice laden with reproach. Hillary, though weighed down by emotion, stood firm. She replied gently, her gaze soft yet determined. "This isn't about leaving you. I'm not doing this to abandon the family. I'm doing this because I need to find myself again." Those words, simple yet profound, carried the weight of a lifetime. They were a declaration that love doesn't always require self-sacrifice. The day Hillary moved out, the sky seemed bluer. That transition didn't just change Hillary's life. It was like a fresh breeze reigniting a long extinguished flame within her. Stepping into her new home, Hillary felt an inexplicable sense of relief, as if she had finally shrugged off an invisible burden that had weighed on her shoulders for years. The bright walls, the compact yet cozy room, and the lush shared garden just outside her window all seemed to whisper to her, "This is the place to start anew. This is yours." Hillary didn't hesitate to embrace her new life. She signed up for a book club where, every week, she could immerse herself in colorful stories, sharing discussions and laughter with new friends. For the first time in years, she picked up a paintbrush, letting vibrant colors spread across a blank canvas. Her strokes were still clumsy, but they were filled with excitement and a rekindled passion. The small garden just outside her porch became her favorite spot. Hillary gently touched the tender leaves, inhaled the fragrance of blooming flowers, and felt her hands connecting with the earth, a bond that made her feel truly alive. It wasn't just personal activities that fulfilled her. Hillary also opened her heart to those around her. She met people who shared her love for books, painting, and gardening. The once quiet afternoons were gradually replaced by laughter, heartfelt conversations, and the exchange of stories that only those of the same generation could truly understand. Slowly, this circle of friends became a second family to Hillary, a place where she no longer felt alone. One beautiful morning, while watering the plants in her small garden, Hillary paused and looked up at the clear blue sky. The gentle sunlight bathed her face, making her eyes sparkle as if they held the entire world. She thought to herself, "This life is mine. I'm not just existing, I'm truly living." "This was the best decision I ever made," Hillary said, her face lighting up with a smile of relief and pride. "I found myself again. I found peace, joy, and a sense of freedom that I hadn't felt in years." Hillary's story underscores a powerful truth. Choosing to live independently is not a rejection of family. It's a recognition of one's own needs and desires. For retirees, deciding to live with their children should come with careful consideration and honest conversations. It requires clear boundaries, mutual respect, and a shared understanding of what such an arrangement entails. Without these elements, the relationship can quickly become unbalanced, leaving parents feeling trapped and unappreciated. Hillary's journey offers hope and inspiration to those grappling with similar decisions. It serves as a reminder that independence and family love are not mutually exclusive, that prioritizing oneself is not selfish but a profound act of self-respect. For many retirees, reclaiming their autonomy can be the first step toward a richer, more fulfilling chapter of life. That's the end of our story today. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonates with you, help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. It's a big milestone that will motivate us to keep creating more useful content for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.